Today we are going to be comparing the Canon 5D Mark IV against the Canon R5 mirrorless camera, and I have shot with the Mark IV maybe 4 or 5 years. I absolutely love it for both photo and video, and I haven't had the desire to make the switch to one of the R series because of how much I love the Mark IV. We'll be shooting at the beautiful Volunteer Park in Capitol Hill, Seattle, Washington at golden hour. So I'm just gonna finish up my hair and then we'll pack my camera bag, and I want to thank KEH Camera for making this video possible. Let's load up my camera bag. I'll have this link down below. I love it. I can fit 2 camera bodies and 4 lenses in it. Amazing. R5 Mark IV. Look at the size difference. Maybe this is a better way to do it. Yeah. Look at the size difference. Top of the R5, top of the Mark IV. Oh my gosh. This is a 50mm. This is the RF 50mm 1.2. So here's the traditional 50 1.2, and then here's the RF lens 1.2. So with the R series, they also have made lenses that are compatible, and maybe if there's enough interest, I could do a video where I compare the R5 with an adapter and the traditional 50mm, but for the sake of the video, if you are thinking of buying one or the other, chances are you'll probably buy the lens that is compatible with the R bodies. Would you believe me if I told you that this is actually a pre-owned used camera body? This is from KEH Camera, and as you can see, it is in excellent condition. There's not a cosmetic scratch on it. Let's even open up the... Same here. This is from KEH Camera and it's used as well. True test is in the glass. Look at that. Perfect condition. KEH Camera is where you can buy and sell used camera equipment, both film and digital. And this is a reliable place to buy used. When you go on a social media marketplace or a third-party auction site, there's no vetting process. You're just blindly trusting whoever's selling the gear. But when you purchase through KEH, every single piece of equipment that goes through is quality inspected. Bookmark KEH for reference later on when you're thinking about adding something to your camera collection, because the thing is, when people are selling their gear, it's not because it's broken or damaged, at least on KEH, because they're able to check and make sure it's not broken or damaged. Chances are it's just taking up space in somebody's camera bag or collecting dust on a bookshelf somewhere. If you're interested, KEH Camera will be linked down below, as well as 2 coupon codes. One if you shop on KEH, and one if you decide to sell, you can get a bonus. They also introduced a trade program and a repair program as well. I forgot I have to do my makeup. This dress is from Madewell. It's from a few years ago, but so cute. At the park, I'll probably, I definitely will be doing some commentary and sharing my thoughts, but all of my final thoughts are at the end of the video. I'm really excited to try this. The light is going to be gorgeous. All of the photos that you see on the screen will be unedited, so you can get a feel for the colors. I'm gonna do my makeup and then head over to the park, and I'll see you there. This Mark IV, at first I was like, oh no, there's no way this is gonna be better. Like, it's gonna maybe be a little, but I'm gonna have Felicia look and she will see the reaction. Okay, so click the, yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, you cannot tell me.
This one,
you cannot
the
tell
coloring
me.
And like even the sharpness.
And it's literally the same setting.
That is
and
so
the same
crazy.
lens. I mean, this is just the RF.
There's like a more of a glow in here than this one looks more flat.
Yes.
And like, oh my gosh.
And even like the it looks sharper
and creamy. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I bet though that you would not get this effect if you did not have the like the proper lens. Like I don't know if you'd be able to achieve that if you had the adapter. My first impressions are oh, I gotta go sell this on KH to upgrade. No, I think that is pretty wild though. But also like does the weight of the camera, like we'll talk about more of like the practicality of it. It's like what kind of bag would you put this in? Could you actually pop this into a tote bag and carry it with you on a day trip when you're out traveling? Probably not, spoiler alert.
I just can't get over it. It makes me want to upgrade. Like
Because you use a Mark IV as well.
Yeah, I use a Mark IV as well, but just the quality is so
now
good.
We are only looking on the screen. It'll be interesting to see if on the computer screen it is giving us that same effect as it is on this LED screen, because not all screens are made equally, as we know. So it'll be, but first impressions of using this, we're both like, shoot, what have we done? Like, is this video a good idea in the first place? Okay, so here's the thing though. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was doing a telephoto sport photography tutorial today. Why is this lens 3 times larger? Okay, so this is a big turnoff because when you think of a 50, you might pull it out for travel photography. You know, you just want one lens for the whole day. Maybe the 35 is too big, so that's why you're not putting it in your tote bag or, you know, your little backpack. But when you're traveling, chances are you're not bringing your whole camera bag, you're just throwing your body in a lens of choice in, and that lens usually is a 50 because of how compact it is for practical reasons. So it kind of eliminates that convenience about a 50mm when this, the 50 RF lens, is so big, and it is a little bit heavier. It's not as heavy as if you've ever held an 85 1.2 from Canon, but still gonna add a bit of weight and just bulk to your bag. So could you really put this in a tote bag the same way that you might find with this size? I mean, this 50mm, this is the 1.2 from Canon, and this is the largest of the 50mm family. So you have the 1.8, which is really small, and then the 1.4, which is smaller in diameter, and it's also half the size, and then the 1.2. So if you were going from a 1.8 50mm, and then you got this in the mail, you might need to take a seat when you unbox it. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about with the lens size is that a lot of photographers in the Build a Bloom Facebook group have, you know, been sharing that they've been loving their upgrades. They've gone from maybe a Mark IV to an R, R5, R6, and they're happy with the size of the body itself, and they comment, and I see this comment over and over and over, but the lenses are larger. The lenses do weigh it down. And I was thinking, oh, well, of course, you know, even with my Mark IV, it's lighter, but once you add a lens, that's where you're gonna, you know, have more of the bulk of the weight. And so I didn't fully understand what they meant, other than, well, of course, like that's what we all experience when you add a lens to a body. But now I see what they mean, because this lens it's heavier than this little guy, but it's bigger. And so I don't know if that's with also the 85, the 35. I mean, even the 35 from Canon is way longer than the Sigma 35 or something like that. I know I'm getting very like specific here. I guess if you're not familiar with those lenses, I do have lens reviews and comparisons, but it is interesting, and now that comment is making sense to me and what they actually mean, because look at this. Look at this 50mm. It's massive. Would this stop me from buying the camera? I'm not really sure, but it would make me really guess and maybe consider having a different camera for travel, but then that's another investment. So lots of different things to consider, but I'm sure as we use the camera more and more throughout the night, maybe that will change. But just first impressions right off the bat, obsessed with the quality, the picture quality. We just finished shooting in this little corner, as you just saw in the time lapse, and we're just looking at the two images, and it's like night and day. All of the technical information is linked below in the listings of the camera, but it's insane. Like, I mean, I'm a little embarrassed, not gonna lie. It's so crazy. Okay, so we're gonna do some more in this little bush. We had full body, and then now we'll do closer up, and then maybe I'll even do some of like the little flowers just for color comparison too. We're shooting in all the exact same settings. We're doing shade white balance because that's what I personally prefer for Canon when it comes to all of these greens. We have the two cameras, obviously. In terms of the focusing, like first impressions, the R5 is superior. It automatically detects the eye. It automatically detects your entire subject. It's not going to grab, like, you know, maybe there's a big object up here. Like, it's not going to grab this vase. It detects the actual human and the eye. With the Mark IV, it does not do that, obviously. We all know that. But it's crazy how accurate it is. It will just detect the entire outline of Felicia perfectly. It's not just like a grid around her. It's really interesting. It's accurate. You don't even have to have the eye fully on or like making contact, or even like, can you tilt it down for them? Like, you can even have it like that and it's going to detect. So you don't have to worry about, like, I mean, live mode is no more, because when it comes to this guy, I love shooting on live mode because then I can have my camera, you know, like at a high tilted down angle and I can see what's going on with the screen back here. But with this, it's gonna show you. So like you might not even need live mode because it's going to detect on there and you can see everything even when you're holding it at this lower angle. I mean, you can even go more dramatic and it's gonna show you. So it's crazy. Right now I'm going to go around and shoot some of the plants. Nature photography is my passion, you could say, just so we can get a side-by-side comparison, focusing on the color and kind of the sharpness of just an object versus a person. You know, you have a lot more going on in the frame with the other ones. I thought it'd just be interesting. So again, the camera is set to the exact same settings, and we're gonna start out with everybody's favorite color, green. I know so many of you hate the color green, and it might be because of how our color profile is, and that's usually the case, unless you just don't like it, which most of you are gonna say, oh, I just don't like it. I love the color green, but I noticed in Canon, it doesn't always pick it up the way that I prefer. So I shoot in shade white balance, and that usually kind of neutralizes the green for me. My f-stop's 2.2, my ISO is 200, and the shutter speed is 250. See, I wonder if we can even show them like when we look through the viewfinder. I mean,
Here, let's see.
this is so different. It's crazy.
Maybe we can see the viewfinder.
Oh, it kind of does.
A little bit.
And then we check it, and what you see in this viewfinder is not what you get in your final image. So, you know, I have to go back, I'm gonna adjust my settings a bit, whereas on the R5 screen, because it's that LED screen, it's going to actually show you like what you are seeing is what you are going to get. Enable you to work faster. Let's do something maybe with the yellow. Okay, so now we are going to import the files, but I first want to show you the size of the files. So you're looking at an average of 46. The Mark IV files are about 35 megabytes large. Final thoughts about the Canon R5 camera. in comparison with the Mark IV, kind of like a first impressions perspective. I haven't used this obviously during like a wedding day or long term, but I think that what I have to share will really help from a practical standpoint. But if you're looking at it from the point of, I just want to know if this is a good investment for me, will it work for my business? That's what I hope to achieve with my videos, is that you walk away with a decision made. So let's go over some of my notes. I have them here on my phone, mostly regarding the price points. This is going to be a lot, so stay with me here. If you are looking to buy the Mark IV New from Canon, you will be at least spending $2,400. This is before tax and shipping. If you were to buy it used on KEH in gently used condition, you're looking at $1,900. The R5 New from Canon's website is $4,000. That's before taxes. If you were to buy it used on KEH, you are looking at $3,800, an Excellent Plus with battery and the charger. So Excellent Plus is the best quality that you can get on KEH. Then let's go into the price of the lenses. If you were to buy the 50mm 1.2 EF lens, you're looking at $1,400 new. If you were to buy it used on KEH, you are looking at $990. This is where it gets me and I would be hesitant to purchase. If you were to buy the 50mm 1.2 RF lens from Canon, so the one for specifically this, the telephoto lens basically, you're looking at $2,300 new. If you were to buy it used on KEH, the exact one that I use today is $2,144. We also kind of have to keep in mind that because this technology is so new, that you're not going to be expecting a savings like with the Mark IV. Mark IV New is $2,400, KEH is $1,900. There's a big price difference because it is an older piece of equipment. On another note, but in the same vein, so a whole new pricing, let's talk about this. If you were to buy the Canon R camera, so one step down from the R5 New, you are looking at $1,800. If you were to buy the Canon R used, you're looking at $1,600. So $200 in savings. It's a newer piece of equipment. So let's compare. If you bought the R5 from Canon new, you're looking at $4,000. If you were to buy the R camera new, you're looking at $1,800. That's a significant price difference, and I would wonder if the technology is different enough to go for the newer model. You might be good with just the R camera. Let me know if you'd be interested in a video on that. So I will talk about a few specs. Like I said, everything, the side-by-side comparison of all the specs are in the listings on KEH that I'll have links down below. So both cameras can shoot 4K video. I was so excited about having my Mark IV shoot 4K, and I never shoot 4K, but both do shoot 4K. Both are touchscreen, both are dual card slots. Now, when it comes to the ISO range, so with the R5, the ISO range is from 100 up to 51,200 ISO. The Mark IV ISO range is from 100 to 32,000. Now, the megapixels of the R5 are 47.1 megapixel, and the Mark IV is 30.4 megapixels. Let's end the video with a question of, is the R5 worth it? I'm going to speak to two different people. First, we're going to talk to people who have a Mark IV and you are considering upgrading to an R5, and then I'm going to speak to my photographers who are upgrading from, let's say, a Canon 80D or a Mark II, something older than the Mark IV, and you are considering upgrading either to a Mark IV or making the jump completely mirrorless to an R5. I would say if you have been using your Mark IV for years and years and you have used it to the full extent, you can be a conscious consumer about this decision. You will not be set back financially, but rather this is a true investment in your business, but not one that you're going to be in debt over. Then I would say go for it. But if you've recently purchased the Mark IV within the last year, I would continue using that camera for 2 or 3 more years, at least 2 more wedding seasons, because the Mark IV is still an amazing camera. It is one of the cameras that I suggest to people if you are looking to purchase, you want to stay under $2,000, you want a camera that can grow with you, you're starting your photography business, and you want something that is able to adapt to all levels, the Mark IV is a fantastic option. This is going to be a personal choice. Now, let's talk about if you are using an older camera, a Mark II, an 80D, and you are deciding between the Mark IV and the R5. Then I would say to make the jump, because mirrorless cameras are the future of photography. And if you're going to have to purchase new lenses, let's say you're working off of a crop sensor and those corresponding lenses, you might as well make that jump and invest in something like a 50mm and work your way towards adding other lenses to your collection. It is a significant jump. You're still going to be spending $3,800 on a camera, but the Mark IV is quite old. It came out in 2015, I believe. I'll have the correct date here on the screen. I know that was so much information, but I hope it can help you make a educated decision about if you should go for the Mark IV or the R5. Of course, I am currently obsessed and in love with the R5, but I'm still able to achieve the results of my R5 just face value, just off of what you're seeing. If you scroll on Instagram or if I'm delivering a gallery, I'm going to be able to achieve that same look. It's just with the R5, I wouldn't have to maybe edit as much. You can even see how in the video, when we're on location, I was so excited about the difference. And of course, like, I'm comparing these two completely different cameras and completely different years that they came out in. But you cannot let the hype and the excitement of your friend letting you use an R camera make the decision for you. You need to sit back and make the educated decision for yourself. And I really hope that through this video, you were able to come to some kind of conclusion. Go on to keh.com, even just to browse their inventory and to bookmark it for later. Be sure that you subscribe so that you're the first to know when a new free tutorial comes out for your business. You can join the Build and Bloom Facebook group. It's an encouraging, kind, and inclusive photography community. I shared about it when we were over on Capitol Hill, but this is an amazing resource. And if you are serious about making a purchasing decision, join the group and use the search bar, because a lot of people in the community have been talking about the differences and the upgrades. Some people upgraded and they were happy with the upgrade. There are so many amazing resources and testimonials from other photographers in the free Build and Bloom group. And lastly, for daily tips, tools, and resources for your photography business, follow along over on Instagram at Jessica Whitaker. I believe in you, I believe in your business, and I'll see you over in my next video. When should you upgrade your gear? Bye.